My uncle came back from overseas after 15 years and saw me covered in bruises. Tearfully confessed that my husband had done this to me. He gave a slight smile and said, "Go to a hotel and rest. Tomorrow we play his game, but by my rules." I hadn't seen my Uncle Ray in 15 years. Not since I was 12 and he took a contract job on an offshore rig in the Gulf, then another in the North Sea, then one in West Africa that turned into 3 more nobody in the family could quite keep track of. He missed my high school graduation. He missed my wedding, which still stung, because Ray was the one who taught me to drive stick, the one who showed up to every Little League game my own father skipped. Instead, he wired money for birthdays and sent postcards with terrible handwriting and worse jokes. When his flight finally landed, I almost didn't recognize him. Grayer, leaner, but the same crooked smile. He dropped his duffel bag and pulled me into a hug right there at baggage claim, and I felt myself flinch before I could stop it. He noticed. Of course he noticed. Ray had spent 2 decades reading pressure gauges and stress fractures for a living. A flinch was not subtle to a man like that. He didn't say anything right away. He just held me back at arm's length, studied my face a beat too long, and let his eyes drop to my collarbone, where the neckline of my shirt had shifted just enough to show the edge of a bruise gone yellow-green at the borders. I yanked the fabric up. He watched me do it. "Let's get coffee," he said. "Just us. Your mom can wait an hour." We sat in the airport cafe and I lied for the first 10 minutes, the way I'd gotten so practiced at lying that it barely felt like lying anymore. I bumped into the cabinet. I bruise easy. Derek's been so patient with me while I've been clumsy lately. Ray let me finish every sentence without interrupting. Then he set his cup down, folded his hands, and asked one question. "How long has he been hitting you?" I don't know what broke first, but I started crying in the middle of a Hudson News kiosk and couldn't stop. 2 years came out of me in pieces. The first time, after a work dinner, when Derek accused me of laughing too long at a coworker's joke. The apology the next morning, flowers, tears, I don't know what came over me. The second time, the third, how he'd learned to hit places a sleeve or a waistband would cover. How he timed it so the marks would fade before Ray's sister, my mother, came to visit. How I'd started keeping a mental calendar of bruises the way other people track a period. Ray didn't yell. He didn't slam his hand on the table or announce that he was going to kill him, the way I'd half expected, half wanted him to. He just went very still, the way I imagined he must have gone still on a rig floor when a gauge read wrong. Then he asked for my address, told me to write down Derek's full name and where he worked, and said the sentence I'll never forget. "Go to a hotel tonight, get some rest. Tomorrow we play his game, but by my rules." I didn't ask what that meant. I didn't sleep either. I checked into a Marriott off the highway and lay awake picturing every version of tomorrow, most of them ending with Ray in handcuffs and me alone again, worse off than before. What actually happened started with a phone call I wasn't on. Ray had spent 15 years in contract engineering for companies that shared a parent holding group with the bank where Derek worked as a loan officer. Small industry, overlapping boards. Ray still had a friend in that bank's compliance division. He called her that morning, not for a favor, but to mention something he'd noticed flipping through mail on my counter the night before, while Derek demanded to know why her uncle was touching his stuff. A pattern of loan approvals that didn't match underwriting standards tied to an account Derek had personally signed off on. Compliance loves nothing more than an audit handed to them gift wrapped. By 9, Derek was called into a meeting he thought was routine. By noon, Ray had driven me to urgent care, where a doctor photographed and dated every mark on my body and typed up the report police and lawyers actually listened to. From there, a lawyer Ray had already called before 6. Papers were drafted before lunch. Derek came home to divorce papers on the counter and a voicemail about an unscheduled review. He called me 11 times. Ray answered the 12th and let him talk for 30 seconds. "She didn't do anything," Ray said, calm as a gauge that finally sat right. "I did, and I'm just getting started." Derek was placed on leave within the week.